Hey guys, I wanted to just give you a little introduction to the badges. I know several people want to get started. They don't really know what it looks like, so I thought I'd make a little video overview. I might make this over again once I can talk. Anyway, so there's 5 badges, but there's really only 4 lessons. The 5th badge is woven through the other 4, so once you finish 4 lessons, you will get your 5th badge automatically. The 4 lessons that you're going to do are creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, communication. Now, the hardest part about this is understanding what it means to collaborate with technology or communicate with technology. So, what we're looking at when we say collaborate with technology, we want to make sure that your kids are not sitting in a group together, working on a document together, but they're sitting right next to each other. Because what's the point? How is technology really aiding in that collaboration? They're talking to one another, right? So they may be building something together, but is it true collaboration? To get around that, when you're collaborating, if you can have students collaborate across class periods, classes, schools, or even outside the state, then you're really collaborating using the technology because the technology is facilitating that collaboration. Communication is the same thing. If you're just having the students participate in a forum, but all the students that are posting to the forum are sitting in the same classroom, then there's not really a point to that. We want to really be careful of using technology just because it's technology and because it's there, versus using technology in a way that is meaningful to the students that will prepare them for a future life experience. And that's what we mean by future ready, right? I guess a lot of people have different definitions for future ready. To me, we want to prepare our students for what they're going to be encountering after they leave our campus. Okay, so creativity. When you're looking at creative projects, having all the students make a brochure using the same tool is not creative. Okay, creativity is giving them more options and allowing freedom of choice. So the two of those things are almost synonymous: freedom of choice and creativity. If your students, so for example, you used to do a travel brochure. This is a good example because we have somebody doing this right now. But your requirements for that travel brochure, that what you really wanted to know, the information was about certain cities, about how they treated women in that society, about the economy of that society, about the capitals, whatever, the government, okay? Those things can be assessed on a rubric, but it doesn't have to be in a travel brochure. It could be in a travel blog. It could be on an interactive map. It could be in a travel video, right? So if your rubric is solid, then it doesn't matter what the kids created it. So they understand what elements they have to have for their grade. But they can create anything. And then the last one is creativity, critical thinking. Okay, so in this case, we want to be able to see the evidence of the critical thinking. That's hard. We want to see the kid's thought process. This gets tricky because a lot of people go, well, do some research online, then make a product. But the product is not going to show their critical thinking. It's not going to show that step where they take the information that they read and learn online and apply it and reformulate it and put it into this product. So what we want them to do, we want to see that planning stage. We want to see that mind map that they make online. We want to see a discussion or a debate online where they're justifying their position or they're arguing a point, right? Because then we can see that thought process. A lot of times, our critical thinking is going to involve some sort of discussion online. Okay? So keep that in mind. So the planning process, that part is a little difficult because we want to make sure that what you're planning really meets our requirements for this. Once you have the idea, the rest of it is pretty fast. So what we do next is we enroll you in the Moodle course, which looks like this. And I give you a copy of this template. These are the questions that are going to be in the Moodle course. And sometimes it's easier to do this here. You share this with your PLC members. You can all collaborate on this. Do it one time. Share the work. All right. You're going to list your TEKS. These are things you do anyway. What's the desired student behavior? Here's a hint. Needs to include creativity, collaboration, communication, critical thinking. How is this a good example of this? This is where all those things I was just talking about come into play. It's a good example of creativity because I allowed them choice in how they wanted to present it, right? Maybe they made a rap and they told me about all the cities that they visited. Great. You list what technology they're going to use, and you look at the SAMR model. And there's a link here to the SAMR model. SAMR is substitution, augmentation, modification, redefinition. If you're having students create a travel brochure online, and they used to do it with pencil and paper, that's a substitution. But when you start giving them those choices, and they can make a travel video and an interactive map, those things can't be done without technology. Now you're up in the M and the R range, okay? So take a look at that. Look at digital citizenship. What elements are you focusing on? There's always something that you can pull in, okay? And if you have any questions about that, just ask me. I can help. And then it's going to ask you how we work together on this, because that is part of the process. So once you've got all those answers, you need to let me know that you've completed that on this document. It doesn't notify me. And then I'll go look at it, and I'll either offer suggestions or I'll say, great, it looks awesome. At which point you go into the middle course, and when you start this up, you're only going to see some of this stuff I can see and you can't. But you're only going to see collaboration lesson plan or creativity lesson plan. You're going to open that lesson plan, and you have a little quiz, okay? And it has the same questions in it that you answered on that document. You just copy and paste. Each individual member of your PLC goes in and copies and pastes those answers, all right? And then you submit. The committee will go in and look at this. We get notified that this is submitted. We'll go in and look at it, and we will approve it, okay? So once it's approved, and if you've met with me and I've already said it's okay, it's going to get approved, all right? So you go in and you do that part. The next part is that you do your lesson. You teach your lesson, and you collect evidence. You show us what they made. If it's creativity, we want to see those final products. Not all of them. Pick a couple, okay? If it's critical thinking, we want to see that discussion. We want to see that thinking. If it's collaboration, I want to see where the kids were collaborating online. Not a product they made together, but I want to see who did what part, right? How do you know that they collaborated on this online? How do you know that? That's what we need to see for evidence, okay? And then you're going to turn in the student examples. This will come open, okay? And then you've got a reflection that will come open also. And this is very simple. It's a little quiz. And again, all these questions, everything you need to submit are here, your examples. It's going to ask you for your project sheet, your rubric. Rubrics are key. Reflection. Did it do what you wanted it to do? Would you change it? Do you think your learning was enhanced by using the technology? Because, again, we don't want you using technology just because it's there or just because you want a Chromebook. We want it because it's actually going to make your learning more valuable. And then did your digital citizenship element fit naturally? Okay, so you do all that. Once all that's submitted and you're ready for the badge, and you've qualified for the badge, I will get the badge and present it to you. Once everything is in and all your badges are complete, I'll have you submit a form so that we can get you your Chromebook. Okay? So that's all there is to it. We do have people on campus that have done badges. Come and talk to me because that's how you really get started. I'd be happy to help. Have a great day, guys.